The following podcast is brought to you by Iconic Nation Media. Welcome to Season 5 of Level Up Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Levy. I'm here to guide you on a journey of personal growth and fulfillment. Join me as we delve into the challenges of both business and personal life, aiming to discover our true selves and connect more deeply with the world around us. On this podcast, we'll explore the topics that inspire and empower us to become the best version of ourselves. From book reviews to interviews with iconic individuals, we'll have insightful conversations that resonate with your journey. And a big thank you to our sponsors, the Boys and Girls Club of America, Greater Neho Valley, and Levy's Deli for supporting the show and helping us bring these valuable discussions to you. Please share, rate, and review the podcast. And thank you so much for listening. You can also leave your comments at Kimberly Levy on social media. Thank you for your feedback and thank you for listening. Hello and welcome back to this week's podcast on Level Up. I'm your host, Kimberly Levy, and today I want to talk to you about 3 reasons why you should absolutely have a podcast, launch your podcast to elevate your business and to elevate your visibility, your brand. So if you are an entrepreneur or somebody dying to start a business, then absolutely you should be listening to this podcast and to this episode, because I am your go-to podcast resident coach, mentor, and launcher. Okay, so with that, let's dive in. All right, you guys. So I wanted to tell you guys about a conversation I had a couple days ago with somebody that really wants to launch her podcast, and she has a business, okay? And I kind of mentioned her a little bit. I think, did I mention her? I mentioned her a little bit on my bonus episode, but I really want to give you a closer look into that conversation because it's a conversation I've had with many people, and it's all around this concept of you should, if you have a business or you are an entrepreneur, you should absolutely be using a podcast in your business. Now, many people out there don't really understand how these pieces come together. And it makes perfect sense because, let's face it, it's not obvious and nobody teaches you it. So I'm going to be that person for you, okay? So I get really passionate about business strategy and helping you make money, helping you feel confident, and really empowering you to share your voice and your message. And so basically, the conversation was as follows. She said, I am a real estate agent at a top firm, and I've always wanted to launch a podcast. And I looked at her and I said, you absolutely should be launching a podcast, and here's why. Number 1, you guys should all be launching a podcast because it does something for you that you probably didn't even fully realize, which is a podcast positions you as an expert in your respective field. It puts you in a position of authority to the outside world. Now, if you already have an ongoing business, there's a reason why you have that business, right? You know something. You have knowledge on some specific or special area. So this can be somebody that is a hairdresser. This can be a fitness guru. This can be some kind of nutritionist. I've worked with people that are fertility, functional fertility hormone specialists. So this truly does apply to so many of you. If you're an esthetician, if you're a restaurateur, I mean, the list goes on, right? Depending on the business that you're in. And so thinking about this, it puts you in a position of authority. And why that matters is because people's perception of you and your knowledge is really important to your business. At the end of the day, you and I both know people are going to do business with you because they know you, they trust you, they like you. And a podcast is the perfect way to elevate your profile and establish your authority. And you get to have conversations showcasing your knowledge, giving away knowledge. And this kind of leads me to the second point of this, which is another pain point. So many of you, which I completely understand this pain point, by the way, many of you feel like you don't know what to put on your social media. Okay. The reality is the world has changed. So when, I'm 40 years old, just turned 40, and shout out, by the way, to my 40 somethings out there, or almost 40 somethings. You guys are coming right behind us. But this really matters because I I really want to explain to you that when you have a podcast, you have this very special opportunity to create what I'll call long form content, where you get to showcase your knowledge as deeply as you want for as long as you want. And even if you only have a 15-minute show or episode, it's still a longer form content that people can really get to know your personality, get a flavor for your energy, and you get to give them bite-sized information about what it is you love, which is your business. So in doing that, kind of like a side benefit and a byproduct that you don't even realize probably initially is that you're actually creating an opportunity for you to have multiple clips all around just one episode. So for those of you that say, I don't know what to put on my social media and I don't have time to deal with it. Well, I got you. Okay. So in sitting down for your podcast, you sit down, you make this commitment to launching this part of your company and your business to help you grow your business and grow your authority, right? And in doing that, this amazing side benefit is with the right tools, which I can assist you with the right tools, you are able to take out clips of that podcast, whether it's audio only or audio and video, and you can repackage all of those short clips, whether they're 30 seconds, a minute and a half, whatever it is that you like from your episode, and you can use that as social media content. And that is something that is like a win-win for you because you're taking the time to showcase your knowledge, to build your authority, to increase visibility for your brand and your name and your personal brand. And in doing that as a fun side benefit with very little lift and with the right tools, you are able to repackage that content. And why does that matter is because audience is now all on social media. Your ideal client, I guarantee, is on some version of social media. Okay. And the world has changed. It was never like that before. And Gary Vee talks a lot about this, that you guys, this is a unique opportunity. We get to get right in front of our clients without having to pay anything hardly, without having to hire people, etc. This is a unique opportunity, and this is a different world than I grew up in, right? Which is why it's taken me a couple of years to kind of figure this all out. And now that I've seen the light, I'm excited to share all this with you, right? So that is a second benefit, is it's maximizing your time. And not only is it establishing your authority, like I mentioned in point one, but it's also helping you generate good content that is directly related to your business, all in one stop. Okay, that's pretty incredible. Now, the third reason why you absolutely should have a podcast is because what's so awesome about a podcast is, and this depends on if which style of podcast you choose, but you can interview your ideal client. So having a podcast is like bringing somebody into a beautiful home of yours, right? It's like this beautiful, wonderful way to connect with somebody. And it's like hosting, this wonderful dinner party with your ideal client. And they can come in, your ideal client, let's pretend that your ideal client is some other type of business owner. So you can get them on the podcast and interview them about their experience in building their business or whatever the topic is that you can connect with them on directly. And what's so great about this, and this is what people don't tell you about, okay? A lot of podcasters have a podcast because having nothing to do with the podcast, they actually don't even care about how their podcast does, okay? This is like a little hot sales secret. A lot of people have a podcast as an excuse to talk to their ideal client. That is their entire reason why they have it. They do not give a hoot about their podcast. Okay. They are literally using it as a means to sit down with somebody that they would never otherwise get to sit down with. So let's just pretend in this case, this real estate agent wants to be able to interview a big developer. And the reason for that is because she's dying to be their go-to real estate agent in her market. So she's able to knock on the door, contact the developer and say, hey, I'd really like to help you showcase what you do and your brand. Would you come on my podcast and explain to us everything about what it is you do in development? My audience would love it. And the developer, and many times those people are really excited to get in front of a mic because a lot of times they've never been interviewed, and it's a free advertisement for them. It's a free way for them to elevate their profile, right? A lot of people get really excited to come on a podcast, and they then in turn, not only do they connect with you deeper, and so these offline chats become really interesting because this developer now just basically spilled his guts to you, right? And told you all about their journey to being so awesome. And now all of a sudden they're warmed up to you in a way that is way different than if you were going to knock on their door and say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I'm a dime a dozen. And how do you stand out? Like, they're going to be like, no, I don't know you. You're just another real estate agent. You're literally the 10th one that's approached me today or this week or this month or whatever. So you really separate yourself by building these intimate relationships and getting people to talk about themselves. And in addition, helping them, right, as a win-win, helping them to promote their stuff. So, and then kind of a third tertiary benefit. See, the benefits go on and on. That's why I love this. That's why I love podcasting. Kind of an additional benefit that you probably don't even realize is then that person is so proud, and you say, hey, can you blast your email list and let them know that you were on my podcast? Because we had an amazing conversation and I'd love for everyone to hear it. And these people get so proud of their episode with you that they end up essentially being your almost like affiliate. They're doing your promotion. They start sending the link out to everybody. And that's one of the best kept secrets in podcasting that a lot of people don't talk about, but I'm spilling it, okay? Some people even go so far as to pay money to be on people's podcasts just for the visibility, but that's almost a whole separate topic, which I will be covering at some point. So those are 3 benefits to having a podcast, why I think you as a business owner or somebody that wants to build a brand, you want to be somebody of influence, of impact, you have something you want to share, you want your voice out there, your knowledge, your inspiration, your education, maybe you're, hilarious and you want to start, being a comedian. It truly is endless and boundless, and that's the beauty of podcasting, is it truly can be for absolutely everyone. And so, yes, all of those steps are fun, achievable outcomes of having your own podcast. So if you are enjoying these kind of quick hitter insights about podcasting, and if you like this content, can you please share it? Can you please screenshot the episode and send me a note, like tag me at Kimberly Lovey or DM me, and I will repost it. And I am super excited because I am finally answering the people, and I'm finally rolling out a method in which you and I can work together and I can really help you launch your podcast. So there are opportunities out there for me to meet you exactly where you were, even if you already have a podcast and you're trying to scale it, you're trying to grow it, maybe you don't have your business yet and you need some clarity around how you can build these pieces, your podcast and your business together. So these are the things I love talking about, and I would love to work with you. And I'd love to help you along, because podcasting and launching your podcast is one of my favorite things to do in this world. And I just really look forward to hearing your ideas and helping you really get your message and your voice out there. And once you do that, you will feel amazed at how good and exciting it is to see your own podcast and to hear your voice or see your face podcasting. It's super fun. So with that, please rate and review the podcast. Please follow me if you're not already following me on social media at Kimberly Lovey. I also have my media company at Iconic Nation Media. And yeah, just reach out and let's chat, and I'm going to help you along. Okay. Thank you for listening. And if you're on YouTube, thank you for watching. And I hope you have a wonderful day. All right, that is it for today. Thank you very much for listening, and be sure to follow us at Iconic Nation Media and send us a direct message and comment on some of our posts so that we can hear your feedback and incorporate them into our show. We appreciate you listening, and we look forward to catching you next week.